Hey!
Yeah.
There you are.
Can you see me now? I'm trying to see what's in there. You in there? Hello? You in there? Hello?
There. That's working.
Finally figured it out. Yeah. Fucking hair.
Don't know what it was, but
there seems to be a little malfunction in the video, anywho, but we can squash it. Fucking hair.
you got your coffee, Dean?
Yeah, coffee, Dean. Let's start that shit again, Gerald. 6,000 miles away, I'm gonna start a coffee, Dean. So, what are you doing today, Gerald?
Where were we?
Where were we? A long time ago.
I'm here. Who am I? Anything change yet?
Yeah, it's still the same.
Still the same?
I can see you.
Oh, yeah.
I can hear you too. Anywho. Still got video over there, Gerald? Yeah. So, anywho, what did you do all day to Gerald?
No, not much really. Just hung around.
And what do you do on your day off?
Not a whole lot. To do these videos.
Yeah, all I was doing today is I was looking up parts and shit like that I had to do, and usual fare. So that's about it. That's why I sent you a text message earlier, because I wasn't sure if you're going to be able to Zoom today or not. So what's going on the other side of the pond, Gerald?
Same old, same old.
Nothing new? Anywho?
I don't think so. Doesn't seem to be anything new.
Kind of settled into the routine, huh, Gerald?
Oh yeah, big time. Major routine.
So what's the deal with all the UFOs over there? You all seeing more of those in your neck of the woods?
I haven't seen any yet.
Not
looking for them, so maybe that's why I don't see them.
you're not looking, Gerald, or you're denial, Gerald? Don't believe in them anymore, Gerald? What's going on? Yeah, got to elaborate tell, yeah.
They say they shoot some down, but I don't know if they did or not.
Yeah, I don't think those are the UFOs we're thinking of, the alien ones. I think they're just balloons from the Chinese or some shit. That's about it. Yeah, it said they've seen a lot more aerial phenomena activity. So, yeah, unidentified. Fuck it. Fuck it. So, yeah, so I haven't seen it here, and they said there was one, but I missed it. So I miss all the good shit, Gerald.
No, I don't really think there is any.
You don't think there's any such thing as UFOs, Gerald?
I think they're appearing, but I don't think we know what they really are. I don't think we ever will, really.
Ooh. You're trying to be evasive? You gotta give me a better answer than that, Gerald.
I know, but there really isn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that statue there, that's the actual Buddha. It's not done as a big fat guy, huh?
Well, yeah, that is a Buddha, but it's kind of the Hindu version of Buddha. Then there's a little Japanese version of Buddha.
That's a Japanese or
With a belly.
Chinese version.
Yeah, the different types of Buddhas.
Oh, I got a little Buddha.
There's Ganesha, the elephant.
Yeah. Because I was reading about that the fat representation of Buddha isn't really, Buddha as they say it is. So,
No, I don't know why they depict him that way.
well, there's a reason.
FM Buddha.
Gotta go on a diet. I forget how they started doing it that way, but I know it's called the fat jolly one. It's called the Jolly Buddha, the Laughing Buddha. So, but I know the Buddha in the singular is Sid. What was it? Siddhartha? Something.
Yeah, Siddhartha.
Yeah, Gautama. So
There is a story as it goes. Yeah.
They lived in India, and I guess that's the statue that you have. So,
But then somebody just made that up somehow.
yeah.
Became popular and then caught on, and one thing led to another. In fact, all of it is really, all of it's self-confidence. All of it's just learned. When you think about it, really, I mean, when we become 2 years old, we don't even know what this is, and then we start moving it around, and we think, well, we're told these are our hands. We learn the language later, that these are hands and these are our hands, and then we think that's mine, and these are my hands, my arm, my body, my mind, and then that's what develops. The separate sense of self develops like that,
Right.
and that's kind of how it all starts, really.
Mm-hmm.
We have birth certificates. Yeah, we all have birth certificates. Everybody has a birth certificate, and that's how a person begins. They have a birth certificate. They go based on that information, and they say, well, this is my birth certificate. It's a certificate of authenticity.
Mm-hmm.
Has their name on it, place of birth, and all that information is on there. But that's it. And do we go based on that? Well, we apparently have. We believe that. We believe everything that's on there is typed out. Everything that's on that document. But before that, we really weren't born. We weren't around before that. But where were we?
Mm-hmm.
Or were we a person? Were we an individual? And then how are we an individual now? So that's the thing. See, that's something that it's hard to let go of.
Yeah.
It really is. It's difficult to let go of because this is all we've known, our knowledge base, what we learned. We learned after 2 years being around that the image that we see in a mirror is our image. That's our body. That's us.
Self-recognition or self-awareness.
Yeah, self-awareness, self-recognition. Yeah, but is that really true? So you investigate further, you look into it further, and you notice that it doesn't really seem to be that way anymore somehow. And then you try and think in terms of individuality. You try to go back and you think of the person that you were and you feel comfortable. Things are familiar. Everything that's familiar, what you see with your eyes, you just take it for granted.
Mm-hmm.
Or you just accept that. Just accept the way it is, and you're not going to deny that. You're just going to simply go with it.
Right.
And so that's something that eventually falls away. That separate sense of self is no longer not necessarily trusted, but it's no longer believed anymore. It's not really recognized the same way. It somehow falls away. And then it's just eyes seeing through a body and a head. And the eyes that are seeing through it is just the vision, the visual field that we see around us. But all that we see around us is not really real either. That's what they say. They say that that everything that's seen with the mind's eye is just a very narrow band of what's really out in the universe.
Yeah.
So
We can't see everything. I mean, we can't see all wavelengths.
yeah, but why? Why not?
Well, because our eyes physically can't do it, Jerry.
Yeah, but we're limited in that way. So if we're limited, and some other species, animals, have the ability to see an infrared or to hear octaves higher than we can. A dog can hear a dog whistle. We can't hear that whistle.
I can hear a dog whistle.
Yeah, but
Black people can hear a dog whistle.
so I wonder about that. There's certain things that animals can do that people can't really do or seem to possess. Abilities we don't seem to possess for some reason. And why is it? Why is that way? Don't really know. There's so many mysteries, really.
I think a lot of it has to do with physics, Gerald.
Yeah, well, yeah, if you're gonna take that literature to mean that, if you look into physics and you believe that, like the double slit experiment,
Mm-hmm.
it takes an observer to change the outcome of protons going through two apertures and slits, and at the end there's a screen, and the protons going through one slit or both slits, and then it creates either a wave or a particle. But when the particle is not observed, it turns into a wave, and when it is observed, it turns back into a particle again. But that's the quirky way that happens, but nobody knows how or why that happens when it's observed.
That's what I don't understand. How can merely observing something change it? That's kind of crazy, motherfucker.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's the very act of observance that changes the outcome of anything, really. But if we don't pay attention to it, then it carries on the same way. So somehow the act of observance is interfering with a natural way that a particle behaves.
Yeah.
Particle turns into a wave whenever we look at it, and then it turns back to a particle when we don't look at it. So that is so unusual. Can't explain that one.
Yeah, it's kind of complicated, Gerald.
It is. And why is that?
Gives me a brain fart.
So,
crazy.
so what are we going to do here? So we're going to say that, okay, I've always known myself as my name, that's my first name and my surname, and that's all I've ever known. But that learning of the name began at a certain point. It wasn't always known, it just became known. But no one ever questions that. No one ever questions about the birth certificate and how that came about. It's just accepted, just taken for granted. And
Yeah.
so we just go on that way, and it doesn't seem to make any difference one way or the other. Even if we were to disbelieve it, it doesn't change anything. We simply continue to appear as we do. But as we appear as we do, are we really appearing the way that we seem to appear in a mirror? We look in a mirror, we see these bodies, they're alive, but how is that possible? How are all these cells that are alive create this individual person? How does that work?
It's just a mystery, Gerald.
It, it is a mystery, isn't it?
It's complicated, hard. Yeah.
I just don't see things the same way anymore. I don't know. I don't know why that is. I just don't. I don't really see everything the same way anymore. Somehow,
Deep end, Gerald.
somehow, somehow, what happened was that everything just continues to become anew. In other words, everything that I look at now seems very vibrant and alive, a lot more than ever before. But how that is that way is even a greater mystery now. Now that I've lived so long, up to 60 years now, and I'm no more closer to understanding how things appear as they do.
Yeah.
It's just incredible. It's amazing. It's just so extraordinarily, but it's ordinary as well. It's extraordinarily ordinary. The ordinariness of things. It's not boring at all. I mean, some people might say that. Some people might say,
Yeah.
"Oh, I'm bored with certain things, so I need to find something new to do, something else to do."
Yeah.
But there's no real doing going on either. That's the strange part. Anything that's being done, everything's already done. Everything that ever needed to be done is done. There's nothing new to be done.
Well, what am I gonna do with my life, Gerald?
I know, but you see, that's the thing. We say, well, I have a life, and that life is mine. My life. I'm living my life now, aren't I? Well, no one's going to deny that. No one's going to say, well, no, you don't. You don't really have a life. You're just looking at a body. You just see a body in a mirror, and the image is projecting, and that's all that's happening there.
Yeah.
But that's all that's really happening there. It's not that that's your body and that's your image. You just think it is. You think, therefore you are. I think, therefore I am. They're
Right.
exact same. Well, not necessarily. if you think, are you thinking from your own brain or your own mind? Well, yeah, you say that because you could point to it and you could point to your head and you know that this is your mind,
Hmm.
but you can't really grasp it. You can't grasp the consciousness, the content. How can you contain the content of thoughts? The thoughts cannot be contained. They cannot be captured in a container, can they? They can't be
No.
kept in certain parameters somewhere. That's the real mystery as well. The mystery is trying to point at yourself. But what are you? Are you your heart? Or your mind? Or
Yeah.
the whole body? Or just the head? And the brain and the eyes are, where the pineal gland is? You can't you can't really seem to point to it. And you can't hold on to it, and you can't grab it. It's like grasping for air.
Hmm.
It's like you can't really hold it. So if that's the case, then what are we really? We're energy. We can go that far and say, well, we're energetic movements. We are energy. That's
Yeah.
true. Yeah, that's true. Energy, but energy has no real parameters as well. It's just like a ball of light that radiates out, and the radials, they go freely out into the atmosphere or out to the air, and you can't really tell the edge where it ends, and where each radial is radiating outwardly. But outwardly from where? From a central point? Where's that central point? See, that's the mystery. We can't really pinpoint exactly where we end or where we begin. Do 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 I end where the skin ends, the edge of the skin, and that's the as far as my energy goes? Well, they say there's an
Hmm.
aura. They say people emit an energy field, that we emit a colorful energy field, in fact, of many different colors. And there are people that claim they can actually see somehow. Their ability to visualize and see the human arm is somehow on in their minds, in their brains, somehow. But is that the brain that's calibrated like that? Can we actually calibrate the mind? Some people believe we can actually calibrate the mind to open up new pathways. And if you open up more pathways of the mind, then you have greater capabilities, allegedly. And how does that work? How do we tap into them? I mean, you hear sometimes of people that have car accidents,
Yeah.
and suddenly they do things, or they have abilities that they never had before. They start speaking a whole other language, is one, or they start playing a piano. They can read music and play the piano very well, or an instrument or something like that. How does that happen? Well,
Yeah. That's what.
those mysteries do actually happen.
No,
And and
that
that's
doesn't make any sense.
I know it doesn't make any sense. How is that possible? If somehow the brain's been impacted and changed, and it gets rewired somehow rewired by the impact of the car accident, when the person was jettisoned out, maybe out of a car, or is really moved, jolted around, and it somehow changed the configuration of their mind. That's unusual. That's so weird how that happens. And then there's the near death experience, the out of body experience. Those things are so peculiar, but we can't explain them, but yet they happen. And how do they happen? We just really don't know. Those are the things I like to delve
Figure
in.
it out, Gerald.
Those are the things I like to look into. Those things.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Like a crazy motherfucker. I get all crazy on my head. Yeah, it's a few things that I ponder sometimes.
Yeah. There's just so much more, isn't there?
Makes me think, Gerald.
Yeah. I'm not really tapping into a full capacity.
Yeah.
How do we switch that on? How do we access those faculties? How do we access higher faculties of consciousness of the mind? By reading more? It doesn't seem to change anything. Just reading more content, adding more words and sentences and phrases and different terminology, that doesn't seem to change anything.
I like tying up words and phrases and clauses.
Yeah, exactly.
What conjunction junction are you?
I don't know, but that's so peculiar. It really is.
Now something to behold.
And dreams. Been having very vivid dreams lately, but I can't quite recall. If you ever have dreams where you feel that you're in the dream so well and you're playing some kind of role, you don't really feel like your usual self. You feel like a completely different person, and
Yeah.
there's surroundings that are familiar to you, but you can't really place an audio track to it. There isn't an audio track, but there really is at the same time, but you can't hear it, can't hear anything. That's so unusual where when you're dreaming, you can actually be in, really feel like you're being in that dream. And that dream feels just as real as this awakened state does.
Yeah, that's the screwed up part.
Yeah. Is that the realm, or could that be where we all go after we leave this place? Because if we're dreaming, then we shut down our awareness of this reality. But this reality we know is not the final one. There must be other realities somewhere else. And the dream seems to hint of that. It seems to hint that there is another realm. And we somehow continue on.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's why they call it the great unknown, Gerald.
Yeah, I know. Still, I say that I know, but I really don't. How can I say I know? I can't say that because I really don't. So if I don't know that which is unknown, then it's going to remain unknowable.
Yeah.
And that's it. You just have to accept it. Accept that there are things that are unknown and they're always going to remain unknowable.
I don't want
Don't know why that is, but it is.
it.
Hmm.
Not gonna. Be stubborn, Gerald.
Yeah, I still want to look into it though. I still want to delve and try to figure it out, but not really figure it out. Just try to go past all that and come up with some kind of an explanation. Even a theory would be good enough.
Why do you want to be crazy, Gerald?
But you can't theorize everything. There's that title with
Mhm.
Stephen Hawking's The Theory of Everything. Everything cannot be theorized. How can you place a theory on everything? Everything cannot be theorized. But yet, they claim that they have a theory of everything. Well, who has a theory of everything? You can't really do that. That would be stating that we have a theory of the infinite, but you cannot theorize that which is infinite, because theorizing comes to a certain limitation or certain parameters of a theory. A theory can be written out on a piece of paper like a theorem, like the little
Yeah.
little figures that the mathematicians put together. But those are just theories. That's all they are. They they don't really substantiate anything. So therefore, if anything is limited, then it's finite. That which has a parameter or a limitation, that's considered to be theoretical or finite. So the infinite is endless, boundless, no beginning, no end. But a finite does have an end. That which is finite has a definitive beginning, a start, and a finish, and then another restart,
Yeah.
and another end. But those are just the parameters of things. Yeah, but that's it. Why is it that way? It just seems to be. Certain things are certain ways, and you go so far with it, and you can't go any further.
Mhm.
Hmm, that's so odd, so peculiar.
It's crazy, Gerald. That's what it is.
Yeah, I try to ponder it, but I can't go.
Ah,
I can't go any further. I can't. I try to ponder it. I can't ponder it. Does it
or
go
good.
anywhere? Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. And so I have to create some kind of a parameter. I
Yeah.
have to purposely put a boundary on it, because we can't function. We can't operate infinitively. Nobody operates infinitively. We must have some type of a path to follow, some kind of a course to take. So that's what needs to be accepted. I say, well, okay, there must be a course that I should be following. Should be. Can't look at it any other way. But what path is that? What is that path that I should follow? What course of
Ask
action?
questions, Gerald.
What course of action should I be taking? Yeah. What's the next best thing? Well, see, you work on organs, right? And
Yeah.
you know about the keyboards, and you know about the layouts and the schematics of how it operates, how it functions, and that's what you work with. But that's it. That's what you work with these organs and things like that. And yet you have an understanding of electronics. You have a very good understanding of that, how VCRs work, how DVDs work, how even computers work, and things like that up to a certain point. But you don't go any further, do you? You just kind of just learn enough to get by with, right? You
Yeah.
you have a knowledge base, and it's earning you money, and you know what you know, but you don't know any more than that. And yet there's always more to know. There's always more to learn. That's another peculiar one. Is there is there anyone that ever reaches a point where you know too much? No, there's no such thing as anyone knowing too much. But that's another one. No one will
Yeah.
ever know all there is to know that is knowable. There's always more. There's always something else. And it just seems to be continuing on. It seems to be infinitive. The amount of
Never
knowledge
ends.
available to us. Yeah, the amount of knowledge that's available to us is just never ending, it seems. That's amazing, isn't it? It really is.
Uh-huh.
So much.
Crazy, Gerald.
Yeah, it is craziness, isn't it?
Can't wrap head around. And I think about a lot of that stuff too, but what I can't fathom is how you can be here but not be here. That's just
Yeah, yeah. We see with these eyes, looking through the eyes, and we see, a reality, a frame, reality frame. There's objects around us, and there's certain parameters, certain limitations that we can reach out. But there's things that are beyond our grasp, things that are
yeah.
behind a wall. We can't see through walls. Even if we could see through walls, all we see is more scenery behind that. We see the next wall and another wall, and then outside that is just trees and mountains and hills. But there's there's just that much information that we go based on. So we'll just have to simply go based on whatever is feasible. Whatever's feasible is in our immediate range or an immediate grasp. And we just have to accept that much and take it slowly at that pace. So there's a certain pace by which we operate and negotiate life. Life's negotiated.
Yeah.
Life is. It really is negotiated. Whether you recognize that or not, it's still negotiable. And if it is negotiated, well, might as well do that. Do that then, and have a plan of some kind and stick to that plan. Because what more? What more can we do? That's uh, that's basically what we can do is just go based on these plans that we might have. Don't know. Other than that, that's it. But yet, there's so much more though.
A lot more, Gerald. It gets confusing
It,
after a
it
while.
never ends. It never will. It won't
Never
end.
will.
No, there's no beginning and there's no end. That's the extraordinary thing as well. But there always will be a tomorrow. There's always going to be a tomorrow. Even if we, uh, well, even when a body is no longer around. I mean, even when this death process, we talk about death and a finality, but that's not. I still don't see that as a final end
Yeah.
to anything. For some reason, I cannot. And the more and the longer that we live, the longer that you and I are allowed to live, the more profound that begins to continue to be. And the longer they live, the more profound, and it gets to a point of where, okay, then I guess I'm ready for the unknown,
Yeah.
ready for whatever happens, whatever's going to
I
happen.
get that way, Gerald.
I know, it's strange. And then why fear death? That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to say here. There's no reason to really. Because if we're fearing that, well, we should have actually feared life as well. Because before we got here, we didn't exist. And we're not going to exist after we leave here. But what is here? This life that we see and observe around us, it doesn't seem to change. It is changed, and it's changed less at the same time. There's
Yeah.
no change, yet there is change. And there's change in the way that each living organism has a certain time frame to appear. So if we take time, and there's space and time, and so that's what we're working with. We're working with space and time, yet there is that saying, we are in the world, but we're not of it. So if we're in this world, how can we not be of this world if we're in it?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, it's those perplexing statements and sayings. Even,
Yeah, perplexed.
even Christ said that. He said, we're in this world, but we're not of it. So if we're not of it, then what are we of? If we're not of
Not of
this
this
world,
world, that's for sure. We're just travelers through it.
yeah, okay,
Just
so
traveling in this realm.
okay, there we go. So we're travelers. Now, where are we traveling? Well, we could traverse so many different avenues and pathways. They seem endless. The choices that we can make. We can think of, we can come up with about 10 certain choices to make of almost anything, but yet
Yeah.
there are even more choices beyond that that we're not even privy to. So that too is incredible. That's amazing right there.
Yeah.
We still have more choices than we can't even imagine the amount of choices that are available to us. We seem to somehow limit ourselves with just a few choices when we have so many more. And it seems to be that way. It's just seemingly so. It's not actually really so, but it does seem to be that way. It's apparently appearing. So it's these apparent appearances of these choices that we can make that are incredible. They're amazing. How
It
many more?
gets confusing sometimes, Cheryl.
It does. Yeah, but that's where the mind can go. The mind can really wander and travel into so many other new, they seem to be or apparently appear to be new avenues of thought and consideration and contemplation as well. What if it could be this way, or what if it could be that way? The imagination can really run wild. Imagination can go beyond what's
That's
actually
for
real.
sure.
There's real, and then there's unreal. We're dealing with the unreal. There's no there are no parameters to that. That which is unreal.
Ooh.
So that's the really intriguing side of life, I would say. Those things that are operating in such an unusual way, you can't help but be drawn to things like that. I'm drawn to things that are, unusual and unknown, and cannot be explained so easily, like the near
Yeah.
death experience is one, the out of body experience, near death experience. How does it happen? It just does. And how do we set that up? Well, we can't really set up those conditions, can we? The conditions either just appear and they just happen, and these changes occur. Just like speaking in language all of a sudden, a completely different language without having any prior knowledge of it. Some people have actually gone to sleep and woken up the next day and had a full range of an understanding of a whole other language that they didn't have before, and that's unexplainable. How can that be? Yet it is. Yet it happens. Um, like playing the piano, reading music, the ability to read music all of a sudden where you didn't have that ability before. That's crazy. That's amazing. But it does just somehow happen, and it really is interesting. It really is amazing looking at things like that. I don't even feel 60. I mean, what does the number feel like? You know,
I know, that's what I say.
it doesn't feel like anything really. 60. It doesn't compute. It doesn't really make any sense. Okay, well, I've been around apparently for 60 years, but do not feel 60 at all, man. I still feel in my 20s.
I know it. I do
Really,
too.
internally, I still feel, yeah, I still feel young. And I think that always will really always be that way. The body will continue to age and you continue to be older on the outside, but inside still feel youthful, still feel young.
Yeah.
These aches and pains in the joints, and what is that? What are these pains in my knee that I'm feeling now? I go on a bikey ride and my joints kind of ache after a while. I still go for the bike ride. It's still to a certain extent I can still do that. I'm grateful that I can. I'm still capable of moving about.
Yeah.
But yet internally, there's so much more. Think of
There's a lot more.
endless possibilities I can consider. I can conceive of so much, so many possibilities, yet there's only so much that can be seemingly done. I say seemingly done because it seems to be that we have an ability to do things.
Yeah.
So if we have the ability to do things, then we'll get them done to some extent. But it doesn't appear to be enough time. Doesn't seem to be enough time to learn more and to know more. Even though we can look into it, and but it doesn't make much difference either way, does it? If we do or don't.
It doesn't.
Hmm.
That's what's crazy, Gerald.
Yeah. May as well go for it anyway then. Look into it regardless.
It's hard to fathom fuck it.
Comprehend.
Kid pants. Can't comprehend.
It's just barely 8 o'clock, man. I have all this free time, all this spare time on these weekends. This Friday, Saturday, and Sundays, 3 whole days. I could just look into anything. I could look into any subject I really want to look into
Yeah.
and dive into the mysteries and just ponder so much of what's difficult to explain.
And Bevy's okay with you doing that?
She calls it weird shit. That's what she says. She goes, "Oh, you're going to get into weird shit again. Okay, that's all right. Go ahead and weird shit across the universe."
Going crazy again, bitch.
She has this little ditty. across the universe. Oh no. But yeah, she calls it weird shit. Weird shit.
I gotta do that, Rank.
Yeah.
I hear another chorus of that.
Yeah.
Had enough of that shit. Had enough to last a lifetime, Major. 2 lifetimes. That's funny, ladies. Yeah. Well, at least Bevy understands you. That's the important thing.
She claims to.
Oh, claim to. What is that all about? Oh. Oh. Yeah, you're a deep subject there, Gerald.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm always a deep thinker, thinking into.
Have trouble keeping up.
It's not that difficult, really. Nah.
But that's okay. We do what we can, Gerald.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That's all we can do, Gerald. I can't control it.
The mind continues to go. Look at these thoughts that we can think about. Where do these thoughts come from, man? Where are they coming from? Thoughts and ideas that just suddenly are apprehended somehow. They're somehow apprehended, aren't they? These thoughts that we can think about. These thoughts that suddenly appear in the mind. But that's what I just say in the mind, in a mind. I can't say my mind anymore.
Not to your mind?
I don't know why. If I say that, it doesn't sound honest anymore. It doesn't sound honest somehow. I say my mind. No, it's just a mind. And this is just a body. And that's just it. And it has a name, has a birth certificate. Yeah, it goes along with it. But I feel that the I is far more than we give it credit. Yeah. A me is limiting, I think. I think to say me or I, now I am is more like it. Because I am that I am, right? You hear
that's what's in from the Bible.
The word, yeah. At first there was the word, and then so that is significant. But why and how is it that way? Why and how is it so mysterious and so powerful, yet simple? Yet the simplicity is also there as well. Doesn't seem to be so complex. Seems very, very basic. I am that I am. And far more than that. Yeah. Far more than a we, we're more than an I, more than a me, more than all those pronouns. We're far more than they, them, us, we. When you drop all of that, then you're left with so much more to work with. So much more information is somehow set free or somehow no longer obscured or blocked by those kind of verbal limitations.
Yeah.
Then the mind can travel even beyond that and further and consider things that had not been considered before, perhaps. Um, yeah, so we look into the infinitudinal complexification of things.
Won't even try that one. Yeah. I'm going to make head explode.
Have you ever tried keying that in on a search engine? Have you ever tried it? Try it and see where it takes you. Infinitudinal,
Takes you all over the place.
infinitudinal complexification. There. Let me try that and see where it goes.
Okay, I'm thinking type that word.
Complexification. Jonathan Tooker, Occupy the Present. Infinitudinal complexification. Isn't that something? There is something about that. And it goes to somebody by the name of Jonathan Tooker. And then it takes it to my page, my non-dualism research page.
Ooh.
See, the angel fire. It's there.
Goes back to your page.
Yeah.
Links back to yours.
It goes back to my page for some reason. But then let me choose this one. Infinitudinal complexification. It says here 2017, Jonathan Tooker, to the undoubted displeasure of very many detractors, this research program has heretofore focused on aspects of physics so fundamental that many have said detractors do not even acknowledge the program as physics. This paper responds to the detractors' criticisms by continuing the program in the same direction and style as earlier work. We present one new quantitative result regarding the Big Bang, and we find a particular nice topic from fluid dynamics for qualitative treatment. A few other topics are discussed, and we present quantitative results regarding the fine structure constant and the differential operator form of m to the third square. This paper is somewhat reiterative as it calls attention to directions for further inquiry and continues to leave the hashing out of certain details to either a later effort or the eventual publication of results by those who have already hashed it out, possibly several years ago by now. Schrodinger picture.
So Schrodinger's cat, yeah.
Schrodinger picture. So it is natural to include two-time components like Cronus and Kairos. Notice the following, and then it shows this theorem. It shows these theorems on here. See, this is getting into physics. Just that infinitudinal complexification is referring to physics to some degree.
Mm-hmm.
Consider a scattering experiment in which two particles collide and turn into three particles. Ignoring internal and spin quantum numbers, the initial and final states could be described by wave functions. However, it is by no means obvious what type of time-dependent Schrodinger equation could allow a function of two variables to evolve smoothly into a function of three variables. Oh, man. Oh, God.
That gets complicated.
Oh, man. Isn't that something?
Yeah.
That is incredible. Looking into all these things that way.
Not too different hard. Yeah.
The convective rolls form in a finite volume of fluid when it is heated from below. When the heat gradient is very small, the rolling is laminar, but when the gradient is increased beyond some critical value, the rolls become unstable. When a thermometer is inserted into the cell, it will show that the temperature at the location of the probe oscillates with some frequency.
What are you inserting into what now?
Thermometer. A thermometer. Oh man. Oh, what is this?
Yes, where are you inserting a thermometer, Gerald?
The modified cosmological model defines the observable universe as the superposition of two unobservable universes moving in opposite directions through time. Oh man, see, I love reading stuff like that.
Yeah.
Cronus has a characteristic value, the speed of light. It shows up as x to the 0 component equals ct. Since it has units of meters per second, c is not a good guess for the most general characteristic value of the most general system on two number lines. If the Fourier transform is already scratching the surface of the most general structure, we should expect to have some dimensionless quantity that does fix the scaling relationship between the two number lines. This should be understood as the ontological scale and an obvious choice where the dimensionless parameter is the final structure constant.
It's getting confusing, Gerald.
No. Wow.
Too confusing.
Look at these theories. This is amazing stuff. Now all these little figures, they mean something. They all have certain definitions to them. Okay, what is the other one? Semantic scholar. To the undoubted displeasure of very many detractors, this research program has heretofore focused on aspects of physics so fundamental that many of said detractors do not even acknowledge the program as physics. What is this? The Riemann zeta function. We discussed the Riemann zeta function, the topology of its domain, and make an argument against the Riemann hypothesis while making the argument in the classical formalism. We discussed the material as it relates to the theory of infinite complexity. Infinite complexity. Infinitely complex topology changes with quaternions and torsion. We developed some ideas that could be used to show relationships between quantum state tensors and gravitational metric tensors after firmly grasping the math by Einstein's equation. It's another attempt to shake it and see what goes and what stays. We introduce slightly more rigorous definitions for some familiar objects and find an unexpected connection between the chirological phase and the quaternions. Torsion, the only field in string theory not already present in the theory of infinite complexity, is integrated. We propose a solution to the Ehrenfest paradox in a way to prove the twin primes conjecture. The theory's apparent connections to negative frequency resonate, radiation, and time reversal symmetry violation are briefly treated. Oh, God.
Getting confused. Can't keep up.
Gauge invariance is the basis of the modern theory of electroweak and strong interactions, the so-called Standard Model. The roots of gauge invariance go back to the year 1820. Wow, when electromagnetism was discovered, and the first electrodynamic theory was proposed. Subsequent developments led to the discovery that different forms of the vector potential result in the same observable forces. The partial arbitrariness of the vector potential A brought forth various restrictions on it. Divide A equals 0 was proposed by J.C. Maxwell. 4 minus div A equals 0 was proposed L. B. Lawrence in the middle of the 1860s. In most of the modern texts, the latter condition is attributed to H.A. Lawrence, who half a century later was one of the key figures in the final formulation of classical electrodynamics. In 1926, a relativistic quantum mechanical equation for charged spinless particles was formulated by E. Schrödinger, O. Klein, and V. Fock. The latter discovered that this equation is invariant with respect to multiplication of the wave function by a phase factor. The accompanying additions to the scalar potential and to the vector potential grad x. In 1929, H. Whewell proclaimed this invariance as a general principle and called it Eigenvariance in German and gauge invariance in English. The present era of non-abelian gauge theory started in 1954. Dark energy is yet to be predicted by any model that stands out in its simplicity as an obvious choice for a unified investigative effort. It is widely accepted that a new paradigm is needed to unify the standard cosmological model, SCM, and a minimal standard model, MSM. The purpose of this article is to construct a modified cosmological model, MSM, that predicts dark energy and contains this unity. Following the program of Penrose, geometry rather than different equations will be the mathematical tool. Space-time approach to non-relativistic quantum mechanics.
Yeah. Hold on a second.
Wow, non-relativistic quantum mechanics is formulated here in a different way. It is, however, mathematically equivalent to the other formulation. In quantum mechanics, the probability of an event, which can happen in several different ways, is the absolute square of a sum of complex contributions one way from each alternative way. The probability that a particle will be found to have a path.
All right, well, we'll take care of it Monday.
Lying somewhere in the region of space-time.
We'll take care of it Monday, Tim. Thank you for trying.
Oh, man. What is the other one?
I don't know. I got to call up. Let me call up the place.
This life is lived through. Oh, here's something understandable. This make it a little bit more.
All right,
oh, I already put that on there.
It gets complicated.
Doesn't it? Professor Arthur Matuk of the Department of Mathematics at MIT describes the usefulness of a technique. No.
Why are they getting so complicated?
Oh man, problems in physics. Complexification, definition, meaning, wordnik. Definition and meaning. Etymologies.
Entomology.
Yeah, there's just only so much. That's about it. It has my pages in here, just a few. There's about 38 results, but that's about it, pretty much. Mm-hmm. In terms of observables and observes. Wow. I'm opening up a whole new, it seems like a whole other avenue.
Yeah, a whole Pandora's box.
Yeah, information that way. And it's going through like that. Wow. All right. So what were you going through? You're looking through some other are these other orders that you're looking through? Orders for parts, things like that?
Yeah, I'm doing that too.
Yeah.
trying to get all my work done at the same time. I was also looking up that complexification. It's just too much to grapple with.
Is it?
Too complicated.
Yeah, look at the little images that are drawn there. The semantic scholar and the
Yeah.
general relevance of the modified. General relevance of the modified. Critical stripped.
Crazy. I mean,
It's cool though.
yeah.
It really is. It's cool to look into that.
I get it.
Modified
I can't understand it
cosmological.
all.
Yeah, modified cosmological model. Hmm. There's a certain schematics they're drawing there up to a certain point, but that's it.
Make it crazy.
Displeasure of very many detractors. Quantum corrections to the Alphen waves in the tokamak in ITER plasma. Improving algorithmic quantum infrastructure. Where are the hidden variables hidden? We aim to find a place where hypothetical hidden variables of quantum mechanics might be accommodated. We consider the possibility that hidden variables belong to the Calabi-Yau manifold, the space of 6 extra dimensions appearing in the superstring theory. The double slit experiment. The two-slit experiment is explained by using a network model, which then transfers to other experiments: entanglement, delayed choice, and quantum erasure. In essence, de Broglie pilot wave on a Feynman path are aspects of a fermionic quantum channel transmitting bosonic excitations between the nodes of the quantum network formed as part of the experiment. This model is called the network model. An essential feature of the network model is that it evolves in transient steady state cycles akin to machine learning, the living universe. Other considerations involving space-time, antimatter, Heisenberg uncertainty relations, fermion boson unification are included. Light propagation, yeah.
Prop me up. Too fat.
Light propagation is a stone in the construction of A. Einstein SR theory, and the comment he made in 1921 is still relevant. The existence of or non-existence of a medium with a light propagation has not yet been given a clear answer. It is admitted nowadays that light propagates in vacuum without knowing its nature. Even if we call vacuum the medium for the propagation of light, to not say ether, it is still a mystery how this medium behaves inside transparent matter in motion relative to space. The negation of the term ether comes from debates about experiments made in the 19th century when stellar aberration was discovered, and which gave rise to the Augustine Fresnel proposition of the entrainment of ether by matter. Hippolyte Fizeau validated this concept with an experiment in which light is propagating through moving water, and which was confirmed by Michelson a few years later in Water and Air. To have a clearer idea of the cohabitation of the two entities, matter and ether, Michelson initiated the issue of the behavior of light in moving matter through ether wind, which was not treated by Fizeau experiment. The Michelson and Morley experiment was devoted to demonstrate the effect of the Earth's motion through space on light propagation. The results obtained are still uncontroversial. In this paper, we show that the results obtained by Michelson were not null. It can be explained by a new model of light propagation and transparent matter in motion through space. Interesting. New law of boundary.
Explaining light propagation.
Yeah. A new law of boundary condition of electromagnetic wave theory. According to Maxwell's electromagnetic theory or classical electromagnetic theory, if there is a changing current on the antenna, an electromagnetic wave will be induced around the antenna, which can propagate in space. When the electromagnetic wave propagates to the receiving antenna, The electromagnetic wave transfers the electromagnetic energy and momentum to the receiving antenna. The receiving
Right.
antenna receives the electromagnetic signal. The above discussion is a standard description of electromagnetic wave in almost all electromagnetic field textbooks. The author found this description wrong. According to Wheeler-Feinman's absorber theory, the radiation generated by the transmitting antenna is not only determined by the changing current of the transmitting antenna, but also affected by the current changes of the environmental materials. The material absorbing electromagnetic wave affects the transmitting antenna by radiating the advanced wave. The author supports Wheeler-Feinman's view. Maxwell's electromagnetic theory needs to satisfy the Sliver-Muller radiation condition. This condition actually describes that a good absorber material has been arranged at the far field of the transmitting antenna, which can absorb all the radiated electromagnetic waves. Considering these, the author established a new electromagnetic theory in which all transmitting antennas absorber materials are near the origin. It is assumed that no matter on the sphere, with infinite radius can absorb electromagnetic waves, so electromagnetic waves cannot transmit electromagnetic energy to infinity. The author adds this idea to Maxwell's electromagnetic theory, that is, to add a boundary condition for Maxwell's electromagnetic theory that radiation does not overflow the universe. This boundary condition must be in conflict with Maxwell's electromagnetic theory because the far field of Maxwell's electromagnetic theory can only take the Sliver-Muller radiation condition. However, the author finds that we can relax Maxwell's equation appropriately. In fact, the author relaxes the mutual energy principle equivalent to Maxwell's equation. The relaxed mutual energy principle can add a new boundary condition that radiation does not overflow the universe. This constitutes a new electromagnetic theory.
Ow. Why so complicated?
Nonlinear phenomena of the torsion field communication sessions. Wow. Demystifying the mystery of quantum superposition. A magician seems to be analogous to quantum mechanics, throws the spectators into a bewildering surprise by exhibiting a magic trick similar to the quantum superposition. The trick appears to be strange, weird, and counterintuitive, like the quantum superposition, as long as the underlying secret behind its working is unknown. In the present article, the mystery of quantum superposition is demystified at a single quantum level. Also, the counterfactual reality and the causality of Young's double slit and Wheeler's delayed choice experiments are pointed out respectively. Period.
Period.
It doesn't go any further than that. It's afraid to. I don't want to do it.
Why so hard?
Quantum computing uses chaotic numbers. What the hell? Quantum mechanics and computation has a major problem called the measurement problem. This has given physicists a very hard time over the years. When I first slipped into the problem, my approach was simple: find a new number system that could go with the uncertainty of a quantum particle. The paper deals with the mathematics of uncertainty, which has solved 2 Millennium Prize problems and quantum measurement problem very efficiently. We divide chaos into 2 parts, low chaos and high chaos. Then we find the desired value inside the intersection of both. This helps us find something in a X3 takes the problem around us to the next level. If we are able to control the chaos, then we can achieve pretty much anything. Damn. Double slit and Aronow. Boom. Experiments in magnetic field. A note on understanding of quantum mechanics discussion of cosmological acceleration and dark energy. Conjecture, a future perturbation to a chaotic system is manifested in expressive behavior. Possible LIGO signal. Operator evolution, equations of angular motion law. The morbid equation of quantum numbers. Yeah. Morbid equation. Damn. What's a morbid equation? Quantum numbers. Quantum model of valence, electron generation, orbital penetration of alkali metal elements with unique stable structures investigated. The electric field outside the atomic kernel is usually expressed by the Coulomb field of the point charge mode, and the composite electric field and atomic kernel can be equivalent to the electric field inside a sphere with uniform charge distribution or other electric fields without divergence point. The exact solutions of two Schrodinger equations for the bound state of the Coulomb field outside the atom and the binding state of the equivalent field inside the atom determine two different quantization energy formulas respectively. Here we show that the atomic kernel surface is the only common zero potential surface that can be selected. When the orbital penetration occurs, the law of conservation of energy requires that the energy level formulas of the two bound states must have corresponding quantum numbers to make them equal. As a result, there is no solution to the quantum number equation indicating that the two quantum states of the valence electron are incompatible. This irreconcilable contradiction shows that the quantized energy of quantum mechanics cannot absolutely satisfy the law of conservation of energy. That's it. That's all it says. Quantum field model.
Hey.
Yeah.
Complicated.
Bell's theorem refuted Einstein locality prevail. Weak measurement induced boundary terms on spin separation. Wow, look at all this. Combined theory of special relativity, quantum mechanics, continuum universe interpretation of quantum mechanics. Is the many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics consistent? Bound state. Rethinking the foundation of physics and its relation to quantum gravity and quantum probabilities. Unification of gravity and quantum mechanics. Right-handed and left-handed circularly polarized light derived from projection operators. Clifford algebra strokes parameters in Euler matrix in 4 dimensions. Can both the many worlds and the Copenhagen interpretation be true? Wave representation for massless neutrino oscillations.
Gotta be hard.
Rethinking mass, energy, momentum, time, and quantum mechanics. Note to Weisman. Framework for experience, moving along the line, quantum mechanics. How new mathematics may with advantage be applied in science. Coexistence, positive and negative energy states. That's the direct equation. Wow. Photon is interpreted by the particleization, normalization of the mutual energy flow of the electromagnetic fields. Quantum mechanics has a quantization. The quantization operator is a method from the mechanic equation to build a quantum wave equation. For example, the canonical quantization offers a method to build a Schrodinger equation from Hamilton in classical mechanics. This is also referred to as first quantization. Meanwhile, back at the ranch.
Getting too fucking hard. Yeah. Can't keep up. crazy shit.
Yeah.
Why so hard?
Deriving electromagnetic radiation, photon, antiphoton, unsuccessful radiation through the mutual energy principle and self-energy principle. Oh man, Bell's correlation formula, proton charge radius distortion, and Dirac hydrogen, modified general relativity, cosmological acceleration, a new representation of spin angular momentum, 5 different superposition principles without test charge, retarded waves, advanced waves applied to electromagnetic fields or the photons, quantum theory of dispersion of light. We derive the index of refraction of light from quantum theory of atoms and from the Dirac equation with a plane wave. Result is the integral, be part of the mainstream of the quantum optics. The article involves also discussion of the possibility to create the electron-positron pairs during the Cherenkov process with the adequate index of refraction.
Ooh.
Anomaly inside function probability function of the equation.
Getting difficult.
Calculation of the atomic masses, gravitational angles. No, it's not angles, it's angels. Maximum velocity for matter in relation to the Schwarzschild radius predicts zero-time dilation for quasars. What?
Getting vaginal.
Maximum velocity for matter in relation to the Schwarzschild radius predicts zero-time dilation for quasars. What the? A generalized Klein-Gordon equation with a closed system condition for the Dirac current probability tensor. The Iridium Q30 explosive space modulator.
The Iridium Q36 explosive space modulator. That creature has stolen the space modulator. It's just getting excessive.
Finding the Planck length independent of Newton's gravitational constant and the Planck constant. Relativistic Newtonian gravitation that gives a correct prediction of Mercury precession and needs less matter for galaxy rotation observations.
Constant
Galaxy rotation observations. What the?
How do you catch into that, Gerald?
Oh man! Update the path of quantum mechanics by using the energy pipe streamline. Wow!
Getting a little convoluted, Gerald. Convoluted.
The theory of disappearance and appearance. Oh. It is known that quantum mechanics is one of the most successful theories of physics across the entire history of physics. Nevertheless, many believe that its foundations are still not really understood, like wave-particle duality, interference, entanglement, quantum tunneling, uncertainty principle, vacuum catastrophe, wave collapse, relation between classical mechanics and quantum mechanics, classical limit, quantum chaos, etc., and the continuous failures in the unify between relativity theory and quantum theory may be an indication about a problem in the foundations. This paper aims at discovering the first small step in the path of solving and understanding these quantum puzzles. In fact, the key to solving quantum puzzles is by understanding the reality of the motion and how it occurs. This paper proposes a model of motion with a new action principle, like the principle of least action called a like action principle. Actually, we have been able to deduce the principles of quantum mechanics so that the oddity of the quantum becomes easier to understand and interpret. For example, this paper proposes a solution to vacuum catastrophe and gives us the origin of dark energy and shows that the basic law of motion must be broader than both quantum mechanics and classical mechanics. All righty then. Matter how to count it. Count it in an introduction.
Why is it so difficult?
Revisiting the derivation of Heisenberg's uncertainty principle, the collapse of uncertainty at the Planck scale. In this paper, we revisit the derivation of Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. We'll see how the Heisenberg principle collapses at the Planck scale by introducing a minor modification. The beauty of our suggested modification is that it does not change the main equations in quantum mechanics. It only gives them a Planck scale limit where uncertainty collapses. We suspected Einstein could have been right after all when he stated God does not throw dice. His now famous saying was an expression of his skepticism towards the concept that quantum randomness could be the ruling force, even at the deepest levels of reality. Here we will explore the quantum realm with a fresh perspective by re-deriving the Heisenberg principle in relation to the Planck scale. We will show how this idea also leads to an upper boundary on uncertainty, in addition to the lower boundary. These upper and lower boundaries are identical for the Planck mass particle. In fact, they are zero, and this highlights the true unique nature of the Planck mass particle. Further, there may be a close connection between light and the Planck mass particle. In our model, the standard relativistic energy momentum relation also seems to apply to light, while in modern physics, light generally stands outside the standard relativistic momentum energy relation. We'll also suggest a new way to look at elementary particles, where mass and time are closely related, consistent with some of the recent work in experimental physics. Our model leads to a new time operator that does not appear to be in conflict with the Pauli objection. This indicates that both mass and momentum come in quanta, which are perfectly correlated to an internal Compton clock frequency in elementary particles. All right, wave-particle duality paradox is solved using mutual energy and the self-energy principles for electromagnetic field and photon. The particle and wave duality is solved through the self-energy and the mutual energy principles. Welch has introduced the time domain reciprocity. Reciprocity?
Reciprocity.
Reciprocity. Is it? Reciprocity? Reciprocity theorem? Yeah. Welch has introduced the time domain reciprocity theorem. Man, that's a new word I haven't seen before. This author has introduced the mutual energy theorem in 1987. It has been proved that the above two theorems are the same theorem in time domain or in Fourier domain. This author believes that there is an energy flow from transmitting antenna to the receiving antenna. Hence, this theorem is an energy theorem instead of a mathematical theorem. The reciprocity theorem. Reciprocity?
How do you spell it?
Reciprocity.
Yeah, reciprocity.
Reciprocity theorem. This author found that the mutual
reciprocal
energy is the additional energy when the two waves are superimposed, comparing to the situation when the two waves alone stay in the space. It is often asked that if the two waves are identical, what is the energy after the two waves are superposed 4 or 2 times? This author's answer are 2 or 4, depending whether the sources of the waves are involved or not. However, the author noticed that a more important situation, which is the superposition of two waves, one is retarded wave sent from the emitter, another is the advanced wave sent from the absorber. This situation actually describes a photon. This author has found that instead there are 2 photons, the retarded photon and the advanced photon. Like some author believe, there is only 1 photon. The reason is that the 2 waves, the retarded wave and the advanced wave, they both bring 1 photon energy, which are sent to the space, but these energies are returned with time reversed waves. The additional energy, because of the superpose The superposed process of the two waves is just with one photon's energy instead of two photons' energy. This energy is sent from the emitter to the absorber. These build this author's photon model. This photon model is proved by this author through the notice of the conflict between energy conservation and both the superposition principle and the Maxwell's equations for single charge. This conflict force, this author introduced the mutual energy principle and the self-energy principle. Self-energy principle tells us that the self-energy, the wave's energy before superimposed, time reversal return to its source and hence do not transfer any energy from emitter to the absorber. The mutual energy principle tells us that transferring the energy from the emitter to the absorber is only done by mutual energy flow. This author also proved that the mutual energy flow theorem, which says that the energy transferred by mutual energy flow is equal in any surface between the emitter to the absorber. The wave function collapse process is explained by the two processes together. The first is a self-energy time reversal return to the sources instead of the targets. Second is the mutual energy flow brings a photon's energy package from emitter to the absorber. The wave's probability property is also explained that because only when a retarded wave synchronized with an advanced wave, the energy can be transferred. The photon energy is transferred only when a retarded wave, one of solution of Maxwell's equations, and the advanced wave, another solution of the Maxwell equations, are added to Maxwell equations, are synchronized. Otherwise, the two waves are returned by two time reversal waves. Time reversal waves are not satisfy Maxwell equations, but satisfy the time reversal Maxwell equations. Hence, four time reversal Maxwell equations, which describe the two additional time reversal waves, are added to Maxwell equations. Hence, the photons package wave is consistent of four waves, which are corresponding to four self-energy flows. There are two additional energy flows, which are the mutual energy flows, that is responsible for transferring the energy from emitter to the absorber. The time reversal mutual energy flow, which is responsible to bring the energy back from the absorber to the emitter if the absorber only obtained a half photon or a part of photon. That's it. A speculative relationship between the proton mass, the proton radius, and the fine structure constant, and between the fine structure constant and the Hagedorn temperature. Finite statistics loophole. Let's look at the foundation of quantized inertia. Concerning electron toroidal moment. Why quantum geoessay? Einstein was likely right. God does not play dice. Does randomness break down at the Planck scale? The fifth force, the cohesion force, becomes necessary when building a toy universe based on a fully deterministic Euclidean four-torus cellular automaton using a constructive approach. Each cell contains one integer number forming bubble-like patterns propagating at speeds at least equal to that of light interacting and being re-emitted constantly. The collective behavior of these integers looks like patterns of classical quantum physics. The coordinate forces of nature plus the new one are unified. In particular, the graviton fits nicely in this framework. Although essentially non-local, it preserves the no signaling principle. This flexible model predicts three results. If an electron is left completely alone, if even possible, so continues to emit low frequency fundamental protons. Neutrinos are Majorana fermions. And last but not least, gravity is not quantized. Is not quantized. Yeah.
Not quantized.
Yeah, it's not quantized. At least gravity is not quantized. Pseudocode, first version implementing these ideas, is contained in the appendix. Singlet, spin, and clock. Electromagnetic synthesis of four fundamental forces from quantized impedance networks of geometric wave function interactions on achieving superluminal communication. The word is binary when the speed of light is zero from any reference frame. Quantum mechanics expressed in terms of the approach emission and regeneration. Conjecture on the nature of time. Quest for the ultimate automaton. Mathematical machinery of logical independence. Underlying quantum randomness and indeterminacy. Indeterminacy. Self-energy principle with a time reversal field is applied to photon electromagnetic field theory. Schrodinger's register foundation on issues of physical realization. Mystery behind the fine structure constant. Fluxon and quantum of canonical angular momentum determined by same conditional equation.
Yeah. Give a little comp off. Or, can't keep up.
Charged particle radiation power to Planck scale, 1 force and 1 power. Bill inequalities. The foundations of physics. Rebuttal of the paper, black body laws derived from a minimum knowledge of physics. Time really passes. Science can't deny that. Today's science provides quite a lean picture of time as a mere geometric evolution parameter. I argue that time is much richer. In particular, I argue that besides the geometric time, there is creative time, when objective chance events happen. The existence of the latter follows straight from the existence of free will. Following the French philosopher Lequeur, I argue that free will is a prerequisite for the possibility to have rational argumentations, hence can't be denied. Consequently, science can't deny the existence of creative time, and thus that time really passes. Cusp and the quench dynamic of a blotch state. Split and observing the spin of free electrons in action. Plasma theory and Stern-Gerlach experiment by free electron quantum theory. Package entanglement states in the particle teleportation. Logical self reference inside the Fourier transform. Logical independence. Imaginary complex numbers. Wave function collapse and linguistic interpretation. Quantum Wurzeltelling. Fundamental nature of the fine structure constant. Computational violation of the CHSH with a local model. Why one can maintain that there is a probability loophole in the CHSH. Is gravity control propulsion vital? Does geometric algebra provide a loophole to Bell's theorem? The units of Planck's constant are not AXS. Criticality and dark matter. Quantum criticality is one of the cornerstone assumptions of TGD. The value of Kähler coupling strengths fixes quantum TGD and is analogous to critical temperature. TGD universe would be quantum critical. What does this mean is, however, far from obvious, and I have pondered the notion repeatedly both from the point of view of mathematical description and phenomenology. Superfluids exhibit rather mysterious-looking effects such as fountain effect and what looks like quantum coherence of superfluid containers which should be classically isolated. These findings serve as a motivation for the proposal that genuine superfluid proportion of superfluid corresponds to a large H sub F sub phase near criticality at least, and then also another phase transition, like phenomenon of phase transition dark phase occurs near the vicinity of some collapsing wave functions and the fine-tuning of the universe. Fine-tuning of the universe.
You're tuning into the universe, Gerald?
Fine-tuning of the universe. A new variation of the Copenhagen interpretation of quantum mechanics is introduced and its effects of the evolution of the universe are reviewed. It is demonstrated that this modified form of quantum mechanics will produce a habitable universe with no required tuning of the parameters and without requiring multiple universes or external creators. Wow. On the nature of the new gravitational constant nature of Planck constants are tachyons governed by an upper bound uncertainty principle. Model of global construction by modal quantum theory. Collection of arguments. First, Neil Bohr's destruction of reality. Wave function and quantum state vector in indefinite metric Minkowski space. Hypercomplex algebras and their application to the mathematical formulation of quantum theory. Unobservable potentials to explain a quantum erasure and a delayed choice experiment. A case for local realism. The Schrödinger cat states supposed by quantum mechanics need not be considered intrinsically probabilistic or otherwise inconsistent with the existence of the particle in the physically real state assumed by classical physics. The further states contemplated by the formalism of standard quantum mechanics could be states not of the particle itself, but of the apparatus, oscillatory disturbances induced by reaction, as a particle is measured and mimicking the wave characteristics of a particle. If quantum states are understood in this way, much of what has seemed mysterious in quantum behavior becomes consistent with local realism. A case for local realism. Oh, damn,
Well, never a dull moment, eh, Gerald?
Yeah. Experimental evidence for a non-globally trace preserving POVO. Arguments and model for quantum consciousness. Modification, quantum collapse, and the panpsychism. Ooh, panpsychism. Arguments and model for quantum consciousness. Ooh, quantum consciousness. Modification of quantum collapse and panpsychism. Damn. As first, a mechanism how quantum coherence in the brain can last long enough is shown. This mechanism is based on very light elementary particles. Then the arguments follow as why consciousness should be a quantum phenomenon and how such an introduction of quantum consciousness modifies the formalism of quantum mechanics. This can also be tested by an experiment. Without use of quantum mechanics, it is shown how to atomize consciousness and how to explain the Leibniz experiment and why a location of feeling of consciousness is an important paradox. It is also shown that panpsychism is an answer to many questions about consciousness. The author claims that consciousness is physically so fundamental that it is not a result of some complex phenomenon, but is so fundamental as quantum physics and space-time.
Oh.
Our current constant of locality may be incomplete. asymmetry due to quantum collapse. Symmetry. Free fermions on causal states. Two state reduction. On dialectics of physical systems, Schrodinger equation and collapse of the wave function. Critical behavior for quantum computing. This paper is intended to show the Schrodinger equation within its structure allows a manifestation of the wave function collapse within a very natural way of reasoning. In fact, as we will see, nothing new must be inserted to the classical quantum mechanics. Only the dialectics of the physical world must be interpreted under correct manner. We know the nature of a physical system turns out to be quantical. Quantical? Yeah, turns out to be quantical or classical. And once under the validity of the Schrodinger equation to provide the evolution of this physical system, the dialectics quanta or classical mutually exclusive must also be under context through the Schrodinger equation. Issues within the main scope of this paper, we will show a classical measure. The obtention of the classical result emerges from the structure of the Schrodinger equation. Once one demands the possibility that over a chronological domain, the system begins to provide a classical dialectic, showing the collapse may be understood from both the structure of the Schrodinger equation as well as from the general solution to this equation. The general solution, even with a dialectical change of description, leads to the conservation of probability, obeying the Schrodinger equation. These issues will turn out to be a consequence of a general potential energy operator obtained in this paper, including the possibility of the classical description of the physical system, including the possibility of interpretation of the collapse of the quantum mechanical state vector within the Schrodinger equation scope. Structure. Well, simple forces that generates the quark's mass as some previous geometry on the Schrodinger equation on the collapse of the wave function. We look at the position of operator quantum theory. Novel way to make sense out of the Copenhagen interpretation. General spin Dirac equation. How did Schrodinger obtain the Schrodinger equation? In this paper, we try to construct the famous Schrodinger equation of quantum mechanics in a very simple manner. It is shown that even though the mathematical procedure of the construction may be correct, it is evident that the establishment of the Schrodinger equation is unreasonable in physics. We point out that the application of the Schrodinger equation, in fact, will lead to the transformation of the study system into an arbitrary, variable, pseudo-physical system. This finding may help to uncover the nature of the non-locality and Heisenberg's uncertainty principle of quantum mechanics. It is inevitable that the use of the Schrodinger equation will violate the law of conservation of energy. Hence, we argue that Schrodinger equation is unsuitable to be applied to any physical systems. Dimensionless physical constant mysteries. Virtual particle interpretation of quantum mechanics, a non-dualistic model of QM with a natural probability interpretation.
Yeah, that's difficult.
Non-locality and interaction. In order to understand non-local phenomena, the corresponding processes must be treated as scattering experiments and investigated in the frame of quantum field theory. Quantum mechanics is not sufficient for this task because it is only concerned with the influence of a potential on a physical object. But in processes with non-local effects, the role of interaction between physical objects must be sufficiently respected. All this is shown first of all of the spin half experiment and then generalized in arbitrary scattering processes. Dimensional theory of quantum mechanics. Position, mass, and general relativity. A novel way of understanding quantum mechanics. The local non-local dichotomy is but a relative and local viewpoint. Experiments and electron sensitivity in terms of inverse photoelectric effect. Piezo coupling. A prediction of Bell. Generalize the certainty principle. You curve space-time dynamic equations. While nonlinear quantum mechanics, Brownian motion whale geometry and Fisher information. Effects, torsion fields, Jupiter primes, vicious and magneto, fluid dynamics, torsion fields, and Brownian motions representations on compact manifolds and the random symplectic invariance. Towards Einsteinian quantum theory.
Yeah, quite complicated. Hard.
That's it. That's it for the infinitesimal complexification. Not much else. Not much else coming up except for my website is showing up, but then that gets into that area as well.
Yeah.
It refers to the Conjured self. It actually opens up my entire site. Wow.
Ooh.
And it goes straight into it and just look into it from there. This website and the conjured self action figure that it once accepted a birth name, which is attached to me, has made use of the English language as a direct communication, appealing to that which we are not. That is simply a temporally temporary apparent appearance for an indeterminate duration in space and time and out of space and time. This is where the in this world but not of this world comes in.
Right.
When we appeal to that which we are not, that is simply a temporary apparent appearance for an indeterminate duration in space and time and not of space and time. To point out that absolutely everything and nothing is inseparably so and not so, ad infinitum, as the infinitesimal complexification of the absolute Brahman that is temporarily, and permanently appearing as the Maya, of which nobody apparently appears separate, as in everybody and everything else dreamlike, third-dimensionally based construct reality frame. So what I'm saying there is that what we apparently appear to see is Maya, and Maya talks about non-local appearances, which nobody apparently appears separate. So everybody appears combined or coalesced or part of the backdrop, part of the scenery, part of everything. So we are and we are not. So we're here and we're not here, but we're both. So if we focus on what we can see with our eyes and just focus on that, then we can refer to these non-local states as well to say, well, they're dreamlike and they're of a third dimensional reality base. So in other words, this is and this is not. This is not exclusively so, and this is not exclusively not so. This is sharing a mystery apparently appearing as a paradox. The paradox is that this is exclusively so and not so. This is no thing apparently appearing as everything. This is emptiness apparently appearing as fullness. This is the absolute Brahman unification apparently appearing as division, separation, and individuation by innumerable illusions of Maya, for no exclusively so and not so reason, meaning and purpose. There was never a beginning to everything and nothing, and there will never be an ending to everything and nothing. That is a separately so and not so ad infinitum. So that's pretty much putting it into kind of a an overview of trying to simplify that which is everything and nothing. That which has been presented as information readily available to everybody, although associated with Advaita Vedanta, non-duality. Non-dualism is not a work of my own, that neither belongs to me and neither belongs to you, nor can be claimed to belong to anybody else, since you and me and anybody else does not stand alone to exist independently, two by four from about, with, upon, around, between, around, before, and after nobody. I do not claim that the information is my work. Nobody can claim to have work of their very own that stands alone in this or that format, simply because there is no separation, where there is somebody who is existing upon fixed positions in space and time, who can use what they believe they know in some particular way. Two by four from about, with, upon, between, around, before, and after somebody who believes that they own their very own work that belongs to themselves, as though they are a separate person and is especially unique in some good way compared to everybody and everything else. It is simply information that is either read or not read for no particular meaning, reason, or purpose, other than to starve the questioner. Everything and nothing that is separately so and not so need not be questioned. Reading the information does not avail anybody a skillful means and advantage to use the information. Two by four from about, with, upon, around, between, after a counter self, who believes that they are a separate reader, who is reading information that can be used in some particular way to their advantage. The information can of course, be perceived as though it is formulated in some particular way, or that the information can be reduced into smaller sections or changed into some particular format. Just as the Bhagavad Gita appears as it is, so too does the manner by which the information has been presented in the angelfire.com domain. This information is not required to be of any particular format, volume, or size. Take it or leave it just as it appears. Either way, it does not really matter. Nobody gets all this and that innumerable condition of dualities. I don't get it. You don't get it. We don't get it. They don't get it. And the me, as a self-conjured self, definitely cannot, will not, and does not get it, since there has never been anything to be gotten in the first place. The ease by which so-called emotion, anger, can be easily expressed seemingly originates and stems from a natural reaction to that which epitomizes a separate sense of self's rebellion and frustration towards the sobering fact that it has no control over a life that a self-conjured self believes that it should possess, that includes all personal rights to claim one's very own existence in the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, or any specified place. Self-conjured self wants and desires to claim a life of its very own, to include all personal facets and endeavors of a life that it believes belongs to itself. As such a self-conjured self should naturally possess all personal rights to fashion, modify, and claim a life of their very own, with free will choice, accord and volition, two by four from about, with, upon, between, around, before, and after itself, to always be continued as the story of the self-conjured self continues to go on ad infinitum. Everything and nothing is always and separately complete, whole and in perfect harmony and balance as it has always been. There's nothing to be gotten. There is simply empty fullness. Everything and nothing is simply so and not so. Nothing ever needs to be created, added, or removed. There is no creation. Nothing stands alone. One without a second. There is no separation. Everything and nothing is not a creation of anything in particular. Interestingly enough, nobody actually starts out being born religious in the first place. Turns out that all so-called newborn human babies are not much different than a baby animal. Within time, for about an average duration of 12 to 18 months, when the newborn human infant, body, mind, action figure gradually begins to develop a mind, the mind of that newborn human infant, body, mind, action figure begins to contemplate how and why it is alive. Interestingly enough, there is a separate sense of self that gradually begins to rationalize and make claims about itself and formulates a degree of awareness with proclamations about itself via a mental state, consciousness. It gradually convinces the newborn human infant, body, mind, action figure to use it as its host and convince them that they are a separate, individually independent, separate entity that is unto itself. Then the mental thought system may continue to begin using more sophisticated processes of acting as a parasitic movement to use the mind of the newborn human infant and influence them in such a way that causes the newborn human infant mind to self-conjure the development of a separate sense of self-identification and terminal uniqueness, and that such a person should strive to continue becoming a better version of whatever one may begin to believe, that it is especially unique, with all the meanings, reason, and purposes that it may self-conjure two by four from about, with, upon, between, around, before, and after itself. then that becomes far more susceptible to religious beliefs once the newborn human infant has become conditioned to learn and be taught how to communicate with what it must presume are other individuals that were born the same way that it had been born, into a type of shared reality comprised of everybody and everything else, who are also just as it too has and will become as a so-called self-counter self. And then the idea that it has and will become part of a societal structure with the continued influences of the mental state that it has and will be gradually conditioned and indoctrinated into that societal structure that eventually overrides the innocence of the newborn human infant to become self-convinced and conditioned to believe that it can independently think and rationalize for itself to ultimately become self-reliant, two by four from about with a palm between and round before and after itself, and thus a cosmic joke is born. Everything and nothing has always been set up just as it continuously, infinitely apparently appears to arise as the infinitesimal complexification of finiteness. As always in all ways, infinitesimal apparent appearances, disappearances, and reappearances of absolutely everything, and nothing is separately so and not so. Everything and nothing is separately so and not so, is neither not exclusively permanently so, nor not exclusively permanently so. Everything and nothing has never had a beginning and will never have an end. Everything and nothing is separately so and not so is temporary, is not in space and time, and not of space and time for any duration. This is so and not so since the Alpha and Omega is beginningless and endless, timeless, boundless, and fulfilled perfection, the absolute Brahman. Nobody personally experiences awakenings. That is so and not so, since there are no single individuated human units of quantum conscious energy forms that are existing upon a permanently self-fixed position in space and time, and as though independently separate from everybody and everything else. It only apparently appears to be this, that, or some other particular way, two by four from about with a palm between before and after, a self-counter self as one of innumerable conditioned dualities, two by four from about with upon around before and after a self-counter self. We are all, always and always, awake to being awake as energetic movements of awakenings that are always and always inherently on, in all spaces and all times, throughout the infinite universe of infinitude of complexification. And although that too is also seemingly temporary, for an indeterminate duration in space and time and not of space and time, the absolute Brahman is everything and nothing. It isn't certainly so and not so ad infinitum. Everything is naturally and beautifully itself. By being so, everything is absolutely realized already. Nothing is also not being exclusively so. Nothing is also not being exclusively not so. However, there is neither someone becoming aware of this, that, or the other, nor is there someone arriving in this, that, or the other. There is no exclusive liberation. There is no exclusive permanent bondage. There are not exclusive many. There are not two. There is not one that stands alone. There is no separation, both one without a second. And innumerably immeasurable countless of infinitude and complexification is absolutely everything and nothing, except for be so and not so as the absolute Brahman. There's only what apparently appears and what does not apparently appear. Two by four for about with upon around between before and after. Nobody for no apparent reasons, means, or purposes. Since it is seemingly so not so that nobody's ever born and nobody ever dies, as a separate individual person who is thought to matter more or less than somebody else, there are still these and those seemingly apparent appearances of what are believed to be innumerable living human beings who are believed to be seemingly in the act of self-conjuring innumerable ideas via what is thought to be thinking and believing from a separate mind of one's very own, and that is seemingly accessed two by four from about with upon around between before and after that which is seemingly referred to and believed to be an originally specifically special term, a unique separate individual person who is constantly believed to be in motion and accessing innumerable self-conscious thoughts, ideas, and conscious by an apparent conduit that is referred to as consciousness, the mental thought system, and it goes on and on and on and on like that.
Yeah. You crazy motherfucker.
Oh yeah, I just
Trying to understand it all.
yeah, I just wrote that down, and then I decided to, you know what, I'm just gonna try to repeat the same thing, but kind of expand on it just little by little and gradually bring it more into kind of a loop.
Yeah.
So it's kind of looping and saying the same thing, but
Yeah, kind of loopy.
using a different arrangement of words, sort of. But yeah, it begins to make sense after a while. Although I don't know how it does, it just simply somehow does. Somehow makes sense. And yet,
After it all seeps in, you can't wrap brain around it.
Mm.
Yeah, that's really fascinating. Gotta figure all that shit out.
Yeah, it's all there just to look through and review, and you can take your time really and look into it, and you never know, a light might go off.
Yeah, the
it,
bulb's burned out.
it just might, and then you'll realize that
Bulb's
there were no
burned
bulbs, no bulbs to burn out. You're just
out. I think the bulb burned out. Shit. Yeah, it gets complicated though, man. So
it seems complicated.
it all just goes around and around, but finally it comes back to where it started, more or less.
Yeah,
So,
but it's really not. It's really not that complicated. It just apparently appears to be, seems to be, but it's really not.
yeah, can't keep up. I like learning new things. So is that what you do all day, Gerald? You work on your
Yeah,
theorems?
I work on my website just to check for
Oh.
any grammatical errors, perhaps, if there might be.
Speech
Word.
prob. Can't talk. Shit. You ever look him up on Facebook yet, Gerald?
What's that? Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Facebook. I have non-dualism pages and things like that expanded. I got a few.
You gotta look up Gene Calvillo on Facebook.
Oh yeah, I did think of that. Yeah, I keep forgetting to do that.
What the hell happened to him?
We might be able to find him though. If you look hard enough, we might be able to. No, it's true. Might be able to locate him. Let me see if I can. See if I can find him.
Remember us?
Guys, leave me alone. They always want to pick on me.
People won't leave me a be.
Yeah. Gene Calvillo is not that really common of a name either, really. There can't be that many Gene Calvillos around, huh? Gene Calvillo. Calvillo, isn't it? It's Calvio.
Calvillo.
Oh, Villo. Oh, I didn't know that.
Calvillo. Calvillo.
Calvillo. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Yeah. Yeah, there's a Gene Calvillo that lives in McAllen down the valley.
Did he move?
No way. He couldn't have moved there. It's a different Gene Calvillo.
Closer to the food.
Gene Calvillo photos.
Now see if it's him. You remember what he looks like?
Yeah. Oh no, this guy's too young to be him.
No.
Wow. Gene Calvillo. There's two Gene Calvillos. There's one with an 8 picture on it. A gorilla picture, and then there's another one that has no picture at all, which it could be it too. But it doesn't have any other information on it. Just has a name, but it doesn't have any details on here. Calvillo. See all. Genesis Calvillo. Yeah, it's just a few.
Mm-hmm.
2016, that's it. There's not much else, really.
Really?
Yeah, it's just showing a gorilla.
A gorilla.
A gorilla? Yeah.
A gorilla.
And it's looks like it's smoking a cigar, but it's a end of a carrot. But there's not much else on here. Gene's photos. No friends to show. No postings. That's it. No other information's coming up.
No pictures.
No pictures. No. There is pictures, but they look like young kids. It's a couple of, could be his grandkids. I don't know.
Could be. You never know.
Yeah.
You spell it Gene?
Yeah, Gene. Right. Yeah, Gene.
I don't know.
I know. It's unusual.
Look under fat fuck. Maybe like
Yeah.
Fatter than ever.
Oh man.
Gene Calvillo. That's Calvillo, huh?
Yeah.
That's him. But you couldn't find anything. You couldn't find anything with this picture or anything. Did you put Gene Calvillo in San Antonio? Let me try that one.
Yeah, try that. Calvillo. San Antonio.
We'll start Googling him too much. He'll start.
It starts showing up.
Yeah. Well, it came in at LinkedIn, National Service Support Spec and PET CT. Maybe. Yeah.
He was working with X-ray equipment, wasn't he? At one point. I heard something about X-ray equipment.
This might be him. Gene Calvillo, 67, lives on Silent Oaks in San Antonio.
Silent Oaks.
He's still
Yeah, that sounds right. That sounds about right. Yeah.
Moving slower now.
Oh no. Let's see.
Oh man, I bet that's him. It looks like that. Looks like the number 647 number.
Yeah, it is.
Call him up.
You found it.
Alyssa is your conscience.
Where'd you find that? I don't see where that is. I don't know how
I
you
just
found
Googled
that.
it. That's probably him.
I did
8802 Silent. Well, now now I'm gonna go ahead and look. I'm gonna go ahead and see if it's the house is still under his name.
Yeah, I think you may have found it.
I think I found him. 67. That'd be about right. Let me go under Ninfomation.
Gene Calvia.
Bear count. Bear count. Prop ass search. I bet you that fucker's still talking like that too.
Yeah. Wow. Agent for
What the fuck are you guys doing? Yeah, you know.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, it's still there. Evelyn C. and Gene Calvillo. 8802 Silent Oaks in San Antonio, Texas.
647-3848. Is it Gene A. Calvillo?
Yeah, his house is worth more than mine. Shit never gets old.
Is it Gene A? Does he have a middle initial A?
Yeah, you betcha.
Okay.
Now see if you find pictures of him.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put his fucking address in there. Yeah, it's right there in Coral Springs and mainland. Yeah, he's right there, Gene Calvillo.
Okay.
Let me go to Google Maps and see if he's there outside his house. Let's see if has an.
Oh, here it is. Property valuation. Silent Oaks. And Emmeline C. Calvillo.
Evelyn.
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 Wow.
Which way am I going here? I gotta turn around. Yeah, that's his house. Oh shit, looks like he's driving a Toyota Prius. Oh, that figures.
Prius, it figures.
The Fat Man Mobile. Yeah, it's his house, 8802. I don't see an antenna up there though. Let me scoot down the road here, see if I see one over here.
See the antenna.
Yeah, got off rad. Had to change kid's diaper. Yeah, there's this room right there where he used to broadcast from. I remember that. Let's see if I can go around the corner and check it out. Yeah, we're stalking you. Got to get another dose. No, he doesn't have his antenna up anymore. He used to be back there in that back room there. I don't see anything up there. I guess he got out of it.
Maybe.
Guess we weren't there to make fun of him anymore. He gave up on us. I'm gonna have to go to his house now and agitate him and say, Al, where you been? Al. I still do that when I'm driving. I go, people laugh, dude.
Of course.
They don't even know the story, but they still find it hilarious. You know?
Well, sure it is. It sounds funny.
I say it's funny. That's me saying fun. See, every man of me saying fun. Yeah, I don't know if you're gonna find any pictures of him on there, but that's his house right there in that corner. I remember it now. There's his breakfast nook. Oh, he's got direct TV and he's got a dartboard in the backyard there. Oh, look, he's got our picture on it.
No.
Can you imagine? He throws a dart to get it. So he goes on the board. Missed. I'll show you. God.
Oh man.
I still remember that time when you got that house over by me. Al, what's so funny? You are, man. What the fuck? What's wrong with you? God dang. Now get a load of this shit. He's got a little fucking storage shed in the back. It looks like he's got solar panels on it. How gay is that? Got kicked out by wife. Now have to live in butt-up shelter. Now I can't say butt-up house. Still remember all the old phrases, Gerald. You need to come back here. It'll be like the good old days. We go down to pick a bull. Oh, it's 109 in the shade, motherfucker. Say, motherfucker.
Yeah, I can find.
You know, I found a motor mine for 1984 Thunderbird. I found the right one, but I need the left one. God dang. And then he walked off and left me with the fucker right there, and he couldn't stand it, you know. And his friend at the end of the line there saying, "Say, motherfucker, are you done yet? God damn it, it's hot out here. I want to go home and go to my bed."
Yeah.
And of course, don't forget the guy that pulled up to me. I was driving my Thunderbird. He come up, that bad lady. Excuse me, that bad lady. I'm sorry, I can't that a bird or a lady. It's a Thunderbird, 1980. Ooh-hoo. I still can't believe that shit. God. I'm still laughing to this day over that shit. That's funny, that is. what you doing over there, Gerald?
I'm making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, Dean.
Working on a project, Gerald? Ah! Too many projects here. Yeah, we gotta go. We got to go find Gene, man. We're gonna go fuck with him. Yeah, you gotta come back over and get a dose of that.
Wow.
Can't believe that fucker's still living in the same fucking house. Man.
Yeah, looks like that's it. Probably paid off by now.
I hope so.
Well, it should be.
He probably had to buy his kids cars and shit, so he didn't have any money. Man.
Yeah.
I couldn't pay house, have to live in shack. Wife kicked me out. Oh, Gene Calvillo, no here, no here. Go away. remember his Asian wife? Oh, no, Gene Calvillo, no here. No, he come back. Yeah, tell him to leave me be. They're all hiding upstairs and shit. Leave me alone. Be. Damn, it's crazy, motherfucker. Crazy, I tell you. I need my cable installed. My kids is driving me crazy. I still got that damn message. Shit.
Wow.
Yeah, good times, Jill. Good times.
Wow.
I miss those days, Gerald. Things were simpler then, Gerald, for some reason. Maybe not for you, but for me. Ah, shit. Yeah, we got to find out what happened to Half Twat and Country Kid and Cum Pants and all. I haven't talked to my friend John. He used to hang out with Gordon, the Country Kid,
Oh yeah.
for a long time too. Gotta look his ass up. See, I think I understand he moved out of that house over there in Hidden Ghetto.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find him here. Look up under Gordon Bishop. Gordon. San Antonio, Texas. He's still around. Gordon Bishop in Frisco, Texas. 64, that might be him. Gordon Miles Bishop in San Antonio, also 64. You details, motherfucker.
Huh.
Yeah, spy on people. Get to bottom of everything. I don't want this stupid shit. You go to this fucking, it's a dumb fucking link that takes you someplace else. I hate that dumb shit. Makes me mad.
I gotta go wee.
You gotta go piss.
I gotta go take a.
You gotta go tail.
I gotta take a.
I gotta go have some Apfeltine. Gordon Cliff Bishop, that died, but I don't think that's him. Try this one. It might be Gordon M. Bishop. That's Cunty Kid. He lives on Ridge Meadow. That's where he used to live. $654 number. There's him. He moved over on the northeast side.
Hmm.
Might be him.
Hmm.
Let's go down to the house and see if there's any antennas on it, Jerry. Dead giveaway to in, motherfucker. There it is. I don't see any antennas on the motherfucker. Junk in the front yard. There's a telephone number.
Yeah, McCall, Dave.
Hello? Let me try another search engine here. I'll see if I can find his ass. I'll find his ass. Yeah, I know how to locate people, Gerald. I lost contact with you, anywho. Let's see. Yeah, still doing that shit, Gerald. Try this one. Who's calling me, anywho? Probably Gilbert. Bueno. I'll be in the end. I'll take it. So, or I'll go. I'll probably pick it up tomorrow. All right. Well, I appreciate it, man. Thanks a lot. Tell Nancy, thank you too. Thanks. Ah, free milk, Gerald. Can't pass that up.
What's that?
Free milk, Gerald. I can't pass that up.
Free milk.
Oh. Gordon M. Bishop Jr. I think that might be him. Oh, great. Current address, Gaylord Parkway. Oh, fuck. Hi, did you go on the other side, bitch? Gonna make you spit out all your shit there, mama. I don't see anything. I'm here. I'm living in San Antonio.
Hmm.
Kenny. McKinney. Motherfuckers moved around a lot. Yeah, San Antonio's Igo Street. But that's not, I don't think it's the same one because he didn't live on Ego Street or Igo Street. He lived over here in Hidden Ghetto. I don't think it's the same guy. Right address, but wrong person. Well, let's type it in the Bear County appraisal search here. I'll find his ass. If he's here, I'll find his ass. I'll find his ass.
Found Gene.
Yeah?
Found Gene.
I know. Well, he wasn't hard. I don't go place far. Yeah. Owner name Gordon Bishop. If anything comes up. Nothing came up. Maybe it ain't his name. Maybe it's his wife's name. Bert Bishop, Albert Bishop, Alexander Alfred Bishop, Allen Pendergast, Couples Road. Let me put in the see if I can find it by the zip code. 250. Nothing. Oh, this one. There's 5 pages of bishops. Nothing there. 78250. Nothing there. Nothing there. Old Chimney, San Antonio. Bishop Christie. Old Chimney. The fuck is that? If he put in his wife's name.
Maybe.
Let's see. Let me go to Google Maps. Yeah, Gene Cavill came up right away.
Oh yeah.
He's on LinkedIn, and I believe.
Hmm.
And it says National Service Support, I guess, for specialists for FESE based, provide monitoring training for the, yeah. You look him up on LinkedIn. I think you was on LinkedIn too, motherfucker, weren't you?
Yeah.
I never get on LinkedIn. They steal all your information. But let's see where Old Chimney cunt is here. Old Chimney. That comes up. Computer going slow. Too many tabs open. I don't know. Now let's see. Well, it's right. Well, now it's right there in that neighborhood, but it's not where he used to live. Unless he moved. Huh. Kind of weird. Let's go check out this place, see if there's a fucking antenna over there. I don't see no antenna. Old Chimney. 6014 Old Chimney. Yeah, if I know for sure, I'd have to fucking Chrome up. Ask John. John might know. I'll have to send you a picture of Nightmare on Creek Line. Rudy out front, and he got caught on Google Maps. It's pretty scary. I don't see any antennas in the neighborhood. You could see my tower from space.
Okay.
I'm serious on Google Maps. You know.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
If you go and look, you can see it.
Yeah.
Gotta check it out, motherfucker. Timber Stream. Scott Bishop, no relations. It's Gordon. Gordon, there, little girl. Melrose. Stephanie Bishop. Cliffway. William Bishop. All these bishops over there, but I don't think it's the same one. It's the same neighborhood though. That's kind of weird. Get that shit. 6507. Oh shit! It lives up the street from my old house, around the corner, right there. That house that caught fire a long time ago. Let's see if there's any antennas on that motherfucker. Crazy motherfucker. Well, there's somebody out front in front of this house here. Looks like he just got out of his car. He's bringing any shit there. His old lady. It looks pretty old and decrepit there, Joe. That's not him, though. I don't see too many antennas on roofs anymore, Gerald. Yeah, I don't remember his exact address. I think John Kazmerzak told me he moved. Country kid moved from there. So I don't know. It's kind of weird. Excuse me. Well, that's all the pages of Gordon Bishop, or Bishop in general. Right? I never saw a Gordon Bishop anywhere. Maybe I spelled it wrong. Try Gordon Bishop. Gordon. I'm probably Gordon Bishop. I don't think that gives anything. No. Try Gordon. I'm spelling motherfucker wrong. Nope, nothing's coming up under Gordon Bishop. So he went on to his reward or whatever, his punishment or wherever the fuck he went. Yeah, you can see his full profile. He did the University of Phoenix. And I have 35 years plus experience, work in NM spec and PET CTs. Yeah, he writes like he talks. He didn't write it the whole word. He just PET/CT service. You can look him up on LinkedIn. I am CTT plus cert. Yeah. He's been doing that for 23 years and 4 months. San Antonio. Went to University of Wisconsin-Madison and University of Phoenix. Get introduced. Yeah. yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, remember me? Ah, go away! Yeah, delete. Oh, what's wrong, D? What's going on? Ah, they found me again. Ah, fucking talking. I'm pissed off. Thought they died or something. Why you keep fucking with me? That's all fucked up. Yeah, he was easy to find, man. You think somebody that specializes in software would be a lot harder to locate. Made it too easy. Why is this so funny?
Because it is.
Because it is. There it is. Because it is. Shit. Yeah, I was reading about artificial intelligence. Every time Microsoft or ever puts an AI bot online, it goes racist and then it becomes a Nazi. What the fuck is that all about? I don't think we's in good hands. Yeah. God dang. No, it's terrible. Yeah, and the sun's been throwing all those solar flares out here. It's actually been, the skip's really been booming lately, Gerald. I think you ought to get a CB radio. We could probably talk on the son of a bitch. Because shit, man, I'm hearing people from all over the damn country and surrounding continents. Crazy. Fucking here. I've been to 319 Club, anywho. I was making this other guy I talked to on the radio laugh his ass off because he was on there and this guy kept going, hello. Every time I said hello, I go, fuck you, hello, fuck you. Come on, hello, fuck you, hello, fuck you, hello, fuck you, hello, fuck you. He's like, you know how funny that shit sounded when you were doing that? Hello, fuck you, hello, fuck you, hello, fuck you, hello, fuck you. He said, I think he blew up his radio because he got louder and all of a sudden he disappeared. I said, yeah, probably in there with the screwdriver. Hey, Bubba, let me turn this little bell. I get my finger in my belly by my dick and my sister. I listen to Y100 now. I forgot about those little ditties, Gerald? God. Yeah, it's probably getting around your bedtime, Gerald. Anywho.
Nah, I don't.
Oh, stay up all night, Gerald. Are you nocturnal, Gerald? Yeah. I bet your endorphins kicking in. Yeah, need a lot more peanut butter to keep up with me, Gerald. That shit's funny, that is. Yeah, it's about time for my din-din, anywho. I guess I gotta go pick up Hesse. Yeah, but well, it's always a little slice of heaven, Gerald. I always learn new things. Yeah, like I say, you come back over here, we'll definitely have to go visit Gene. Tell him to go away and come back with food and pizza. Damn. But yeah, well, I guess I'll let you get going and get my love heavy. But yeah, thanks for the Zoom, brother. Appreciate it.
Okay.
And have a good one. Have a good evening and a better tomorrow, Gerald.
All right, Dean.
Yeah, I'm going to go 10-7, I hope. Hey, next time, same channel, Gerald.
Okay, Dean.
Don't forget to set it up, Gerald.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, do me later, Gerald. All right, thanks, Rick. Talk to you later.
Okay.
Bye.